Seahawks fans, wherever you may be. Thanks for listening to the show. Join your hosts, Bill Alvstad and Keith Myers, as we talk Seahawks football. Hey, hi, Seahawks fans. Welcome back to another episode of the Seahawks Playbook podcast. I'm your host, Bill Alvstad, sitting down, as always, with Mr. Keith Myers, here to talk Seahawks football. I've got a great show for you today, coming off a terrific road win. The Seahawks hand the Steelers a loss 31-17. Didn't even seem like it was that close. And that came down to the Seahawks outscoring Pittsburgh in the second half, 24-3. So just ran away, literally, from them. And fun win overall. Lots of fun individual players to talk about. And overall, I feel much better after this game than I did that first game. How about you, Keith?
Oh yeah, this was a lot easier to watch and a lot more. It's going to be a lot more fun to talk about. There's a lot to like here. Didn't like slow start. Well, really hot start for the first couple minutes, but then the rest of the first half was kind of gross for Seattle's offense. But once they got going in the second half, Pittsburgh just had no answers to what Seattle wanted to do. And they were just able to run away with it. And Ken Walker had a coming out party. And it was fun. It was just a really fun game to watch.
Yeah, Ken Walker averaged 8.1 yards overall in the second half. I think he averaged more like 9.8 in the second half on 8 carries. It was crazy. Had 79 yards, something like that in the second half. Charbonnet didn't look as sharp as the first game, but on the whole, we were very effective, I thought, running the ball against them. It was a nice, well-balanced offense. I thought much better play calling, use of play action, converting on third downs, all the things that we talked about after last game that we wanted to see out of this game, they did. On both sides of the ball, I thought they performed really well. I thought our defensive line was amazing. I thought our defensive backs really stepped up with Nwari and Witherspoon out. We can talk about a couple of guys that really did kind of step up. Overall, let's start with the defense, because I think there's a lot to talk about with the offense today. But the defense really played well. Solid game overall. A couple out standout performances. What are your thoughts?
Well, honestly, I think you have to talk about the defensive line and just really start there. Byron Murphy, 1.5 sacks, just absolutely dominant up front. Williams had a half a sack and was in the backfield far more than anybody in Pittsburgh wanted him to be. And even Jerron Reed ended up with a sack. These are your front three. These are your big guys that are there to clog the middle and keep linebackers free and whatever. And they were just getting after Rodgers and just really dominating at the line of scrimmage. And when you have guys that are dominating at the line of scrimmage like that, especially a guy like Murphy, it makes it really hard to move the ball. And that's what happened. I mean, Seattle just defensively just really dominated this one.
Yeah, both against the run and the pass. The sacks really only told a little bit of that story. I mean, they're leading the NFL in pressure rate through 2 weeks, according to next gen stats, 49.4%. Using a 4-man rush on 83% of all passing downs, with a blitz rate of only 13%. There's only one team in the NFL that blitzes less than Seattle, and that's Cincinnati, but we have the highest pressure rate. That means we're getting it done with our front four and front seven overall. Really fun group to talk about. Each one has special attributes. Each one's doing a tremendous job, I think, overall, especially defending the pass in conjunction with what they're doing on the back end. Really getting it done. And then defending the run, we allowed 21 carries, 72 yards, 3.4 average with Pittsburgh. And that's really good. Now, it may turn out, Keith, at the end of the year that Pittsburgh's just a really bad team. And that, but I don't really care at this stage in week 2. What I wanted to see was how my team performed. I didn't even really care about the opponent very much. And I thought that they did that consistently throughout the game, save a couple of plays. I mean, there was that one play where I think Jalen Warren had that 65-yard reception, bad tackling on that
Oh
play,
yeah,
but everything else was really
five
solid.
guys touched him and couldn't get him down to the ground. Like,
That
come
was hard
on.
to watch. But Robbie Oots made up for that on that double pancake block, lead block for Ken Walker to run through. That was something else. He took out 2 linebackers in almost, the same second.
Yeah, 'cause he hit the first one, pancaked him back into the second one. They both ended up on the ground, and there was no linebackers left to chase Ken Walker, who was down, down the sideline. It was gorgeous. I loved that.
Yeah,
I've missed having a good fullback where you can just clobber linebackers in the hole. I don't know why teams don't play with fullbacks anymore.
It was amazing. I mean, it was all over the internet today. Just everyone was enjoying that. And I just giggled out loud. I just watched it over and over again, like 10 times, because it was in a loop, and I was just like totally amused at the whole thing. I wanted to get back to that Jalen Warren reception where he ran for 65 yards, chased down on a really decent play by Tariq Woolen, chased him down, caught him at the 6-7 yard line. Couple plays later, Aaron Rodgers looked like he was going to throw a touchdown, ends up getting intercepted by Kendrick, a player that had not played defense for Seattle until this game. Couple snaps on special teams last week. It comes in, fills that kind of nickel role for them, and did an amazing job. I mean, that was really outstanding work, and that interception was amazing. Turning point in the game, I thought. Game was tied at that point. Could have gone a different way, and ended up Seattle got that ball back, didn't allow the score. That looked like a sure thing at that point. And
that's why it's so important when you see guys chase down a play, and even if you stop them at the 5 or whatever, it's like, yeah, a lot of times you'll see them on the next play knock the ball in, but you make them earn it. And in this case, they couldn't earn it, right? They had it, they had a chance, and Kendrick gets the pick and keeps him out of the end zone. And he doesn't get a chance to do that if Tariq Woolen can't chase Warren down and get him on the ground after that reception. So
yeah, no, Kendrick with an excellent game overall. Allowed 2 receptions for 13 yards on 5 targets. Also had a pair of pass breakups, including a dropped interception, in addition to the one he did get. So Josh Jobe also, I thought, played outstanding. And per next gen stats, he allowed 1 catch for 7 yards on 3 targets. Also with the pass defense through 2 games, he's got 8 targets, 2 catches for 8 yards, and an interception, another pass breakup, with a passer rating allowed of 0.0. That's pretty good.
I'd say much better than that. That's pretty damn good.
So
I thought Tariq Woolen had a bounce back game in this one after sucking up the joint in week 1. They really needed him to step up and be good. They put him on DK Metcalf for most of the game, and Metcalf ended up with 3 receptions for 20 yards. That's it.
Yeah. That's a good day against DK for sure.
And one of those receptions, the touchdown that he got was, he ended up matched up on Kobe Bryant, not Tariq Woolen for that one. But Tariq had a good game. He played very physical. He made DK's life very challenging, and never really let up. And if I'm gonna rag on him when he plays poorly, I feel like I need to prop him up when he deserves it, and he definitely deserves it in after this game.
Yeah, and the defense allowed 17 points again, and that's good because we allowed 17 points in the previous game, even though we allowed a bunch of yards last week. That was, I think, more the fault of the offense, just not giving the defense any opportunity to get off the field.
Well, and in this one of the things you got to think about is that the second interception that Darnold had ended up giving them the ball like at the 20-yard line, and they're gonna score points that way. That's not really on the defense. That's on Sam Darnold and the offense. Although
if not for those interceptions, we would have had 13 of those points back.
Yeah, because they scored 13 points off those two interceptions, and I mean the defense played really well. You can't give them enough credit. That was just a really solid ball game by the defensive side of that team.
So let's talk offense. What did you see that you liked against Pittsburgh? That it looks like Pittsburgh's defense is not going to be that good this year, but nonetheless, it was a great opportunity for our offense to kind of get in sync and get some confidence back and look good doing it.
Pittsburgh might have a good defense once they get healthy, but they are missing some important guys in the middle of that defense, and Seattle took advantage of it. They made a point of getting Walker carries and letting him do Ken Walker things. 13 carries, 105 yards, 8.1 average. He was only averaging 5.5 yards at halftime. And so that'll give you an idea of what he did in the second. I know only, but he just exploded in the second half and was really thing. And
that third goal from the 19 was an amazing little scamper. Like it was just a great run and it changed the game. I mean, you could have been looking at a field goal attempt at that point, and we'd already missed one from that distance, and so I thought that was a key play of the game.
Yeah. What interesting though is like Zach Charbonnet, who had been the better of the two, more productive of the two backs, both during the first game and preseason at the end of last year, all of that. 15 attempts for 10 yards.
Yeah.
Just could not get going in this one, where Walker 13 carries 105 yards. Like, I did not realize that Charbonnet had that many carries until I started looking at the stat sheet. And I was like, I don't remember him being on the field that much. Hats off to
Kubiak for just continuing to feed the running backs the ball in this game, even though Charbonnet struggled. Mm-hmm. They still gave him the ball. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Well, and because they gave him the ball, it opened things up for Sam Darnold in the passing game. Like they had the linebackers, especially Patrick Queen, the center, the middle linebacker there. They had him frozen at the play action far too many times, and were able to get the ball behind him and that kind of stuff. Darnold played a pretty damn good game in terms of finding guys. Had one really bad throw and another one where they set up the screen poorly and everyone saw it coming, and it ended up being just a terrible interception that got ran back to the 20. But there was really one bad throw by Darnold. Yeah, the interception that on that pass to Cup. But other than that, he played well. He really was point guarding the passing game. A lot of stuff with the play action, and good job by Kubiak to get guys like Arroyo and Barner and Horton involved after they weren't involved in week one. And Cup, yeah, 7 receptions for 90 yards. That's
the player that we acquired in free agency. I mean, that's the guy that we want to have on a week-to-week basis, step up and play like that. Mm-hmm. And this was a great coming out. It's interesting that you opened up the offensive conversation with the running game and with Ken Walker, and rightly so. But I thought Darnold had a great game, 295 yards, a couple touchdowns. You mentioned the interception that was bad, but the one that, maybe not quite his fault. took a couple of sacks, but I thought that he played in control. I thought that one elusive spin move to evade a tackle and keep the drive going when he threw to Barner on the outside, and Barner picked up the first down there. That was important. That was like a really important, and he could have taken a sack there. I mean, that was really close, and his athleticism made that play. I thought that was eye-opening for me. The second half, they went 4 for 7 on third down, including converting on 3rd and 14 and 3rd and 19, which is hard to do for any team. And
it was third
to have a new offense
at the
do
19.
that is good. Yeah.
Not just 3rd and 19, it's 3rd and goal, right?
Yeah.
And that, because it's you compress the field there at the end zone, it makes it more difficult because they don't have to worry about, guarding 40 yards downfield. It really is harder to convert 3rd and 19 at the 19 than it is 3rd and 19 at the 50. But you're right, 4 of 7 in the second half. Overall, it was a really nice, efficient performance by Darnold, minus the one bad pick.
I had texted you one time at the game. I was just like, this is too many mistakes to overcome on the road. When it was like the first quarter, and it was just too many. And it was like we had missed a field goal and we had an interception, and I was just like, this is not a good sign. And then things kind of turned around from there. So one player we didn't mention is Njigba. And he had another big game, really 8 catches for 103 yards. And it was just really nice to see how spread out they were in the passing game. Although, they still only completed passes to 6 players, which I think is interesting. If you go look at the stat sheet for Pittsburgh, I think it's 10, like they had 10 receivers in. So we're very kind of conservative in that respect, but it was very efficient.
3 receivers, 2 tight ends, and Ken Walker.
Yeah.
Was it? Honestly, I'm okay with that. Those 6 guys are great. I love that they're spreading it around more. It wasn't just the Smith and Njigba show that they
Yes.
they got Walker, and more importantly to me, Torrey Horton involved. He had the touchdown, had another
looked good too.
Yeah, another big reception in there. You get him, especially with his speed and his ability to get deep, you get him involved, and it takes the safeties, it pushes them a step back and creates more space for guys like Cup and JSN. So I love the fact that those 3 guys are in there and getting it. Would it be nice if more guys got touches? We got Tariq Young or someone get a catch, sure, but honestly, they weren't running. You're not running 4 wide receiver sets in this offense. You're running with 3, and the 4th wide receiver is Arroyo, a tight end.
Right.
And if you have a 5th person out there, it's Barner, another tight end. You're only going to see those 3 receivers for most of the game. You're very rarely going to see the other guys, and I'm okay with that. Keep your most talented guys on the field.
Yeah. And run the ball.
And run the football.
Yeah. And it was nice to close out the game. I love the fact that we scored 24 points to their 3 to close out the game. I mean, you didn't even give them a chance. And that was really nice and refreshing to see. How about that kickoff from Pittsburgh that we recovered? Helani in the back of the end zone. That was a crazy play. And I was like, the whole time I was like, is that live? Is that a live ball? And then by the time that Helani came into the frame of the TV, he was going for it. And I was like, man, is he going to recover this? And is it going to be a touchback? And sure enough, it was crazy. What do you think of that?
It was crazy because it hit the guy in the hands, but then went into the end zone. And I think he was thinking, because if the ball touches the ground in the end zone, it's an automatic touchback.
It wasn't. It didn't hit his hands. The replay showed it missed him completely, but it hit in the area of the field where if the ball hits in that area, you have to recover it. You have to
play
cover
it.
the ball or return it. And he
Yeah,
missed it, and it went past him, and that was it.
It's like, I don't know if he thought it was going to be a touchback or if he thought it was going to bounce through the end zone, but he didn't even turn around and go back for it. He just started walking off the field, and the ball stopped there about 9 yards deep in the end zone and waited for Helani to go get it. I think I saw, they said that was the first time a kicking team scored a touchdown on a kickoff since 1981.
Yeah. And especially since these new rules have gone into effect.
But 1981.
That's pretty rare.
I mean, that's more than,
that was amazing.
More than 40 years.
And Helani had time to just kind of get there and pick it up and not dive on it and risk having it go out of the back of the end zone and stuff. So that was a little close for me, but nonetheless, that was a big play. I mean, that was a really big play because that was a point where, again, we were, I think we were tied, Keith, at that moment, and
I thought the Seahawks had just taken the lead, and then,
maybe you're right,
and then it extended the lead. But at that point, it felt like the Seahawks were they were taking over. And so, yeah, it was, they took the lead at 17-14, and then that made it 24-14. I'm just looking at the scoring plays, but the Seahawks had been operating from behind because of, some rough play with the offense and, just some mistakes. But it really felt like they were taking over. And they drove down, they got that touchdown to Barner, and I think it was Barner for that one.
Mm-hmm.
And it just felt like, okay, the Seahawks were taking over. The offense was moving the ball. They were doing things. The defense wasn't giving up anything to Rodgers.
Who, by the way, looks like he's washed.
He totally looks like he's washed. I'm sorry.
That's why I don't know how much to put into this game. Like, our defense looked outstanding, but also Rodgers is not the same dude. He's just not.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's still Aaron Rodgers in terms of the guy with all that experience and being smart and the pre-snap stuff that he can do. He's seen everything, right? So, like, you're very rarely fooling him. Physically, he can't do all the things he used to do, but mentally, it's not like he's forgotten how to play football.
Mm-hmm.
But they still made him look incredibly pedestrian. It was not a good day for Aaron Rodgers. 18 of 33, just barely over 50%, 203 yards.
And a lot of those were dump offs, man.
Yeah. 203 total yards despite being behind the entire second half and throwing like crazy. And the 2 picks. And
one touchdown that he had was a 2-yarder.
Yeah. I mean, it was to DK, and really it came down to DK's ability to be 6'4" and out jump Kobe Bryant, who's 6 foot. Sorry, Kobe. But you're not going to win that very often. I thought Kobe Bryant played a fantastic game. He had a pick, all of that, but that's just, it's a physical mismatch. That's why DK is coveted, because he's a guy with that much size and stuff. And then he can also run like crazy.
For as much as Seattle had him and used him in that play, Seattle barely used him like that, which was aggravating to me. So there's a couple things I think that we could still work on. Third down conversion rate was 42.9%. You kind of want to see that closer to 50%, if not above. If you can do it, and with a good solid running game, you should be close to 50%. I mean, you're really winning games when you're at 50%. 42.9. I'd like to see a little better than that. That made the time of possession closer than I think it should have been. We were at 31-17. They were at 28-43. It wasn't even that close. But when you don't convert all the time, you're giving the ball back. Other than that, though, we had 21 first downs. We held the Steelers to 13. Obviously, the point differential, the turnover differential was somewhat even because of those 2 picks that Darnold had. You can't wipe them out. They are what they are. But I thought we overcame those. I think that's the big thing. I think big plays. I think this team, the Seahawks had several big plays, big yardage plays in this game, and we held the Steelers to very few of those. That 165-yard reception was it, and everything else was under, I think, 15 yards play-wise for them. Then we had a number of plays in the 20 yards, 19 yards, 17 yards, scampers, 15 yards. So I thought the big plays, the converting, scoring touchdowns when you're in scoring opportunities, I think coming away with 3, a rushing touchdown, 2 passing touchdowns, that recovery in the end zone, as opposed to trying to kick field goals. And it was nice to see a game where we had the lead in the second half and we maintained it, and we weren't going to let them get close. So that was nice to see. How about you? Is there anything that you saw that maybe we could do better?
As great as the running game looked with Ken Walker, the 15 carries for 10 yards by
0.67
Zach Charbonnet, who, as I said earlier, has been the better back of the two up until this game. That has me concerned. I think that there's no way he's such a good runner like that he should be being held that way. And a lot of it wasn't him. It was like guys getting, him getting hit in the backfield or just running into traffic because of the way that things were.
He had one carry for a 6-yard gain. Everything else was at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm. Because other than that one carry, he only gained 4 yards on his other 14 carries.
Yeah. He was getting hit, and he would stretch out for a yard at best, here and there. But yeah, that was tough to watch. The other thing I noticed is they used Barner again in a short yard situation on 4th down to convert, and he did. That's 2 games in a row. What are your thoughts on that as opposed to using Robbie Utes in that role?
Well, it went direct snap to Barner. And rather than, it's not like they handed it off to him. It was direct snap to him and he pushed forward. I think part of that is going to have to do with his height and size. And just, you're looking at, you need a yard, and basically you're doing a tush push play. And rather than doing it with Sam Darnold and that, you're handing it off to a guy who's
so who pushed 6'4", him over? Like he kind of got to the goal line up on top of the scrum, and then somebody pushed him. Who do you know who that was? Was that Robbie Utes or was that?
I thought it was Zach Charbonnet,
the guard. Okay,
I thought it was Zach Charbonnet that came in and pushed him from that spot.
The nice thing for me, compared to last year, is last year we had so many attempts on 4th down and short, 3rd and short, 3rd and goal, 4th
couldn't get one.
Couldn't get anything. And this year, at least we're converting those seemingly on somewhat of a regular basis, which is providing me some hope that, when it really comes down to crunch time and we need to win games or we need to go for it to maintain a drive or something, that we've got at least a 50-50 shot. Last year, there was no hope at all.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So I'm really happy with what I saw as far as the secondary play without their best player, right? You got Spoon not playing, and the guy that would probably you'd expect to pick up the slack for him, Emanware, who has only played 4 plays this season so far and is going to be out for at least a couple more weeks with that ankle. Guys had to step up and really make a difference, and you got DK on that other team. That's a hard matchup, and do not have your best player out there. I was impressed with what I saw from Job especially. Rick Woolen played well, and Kendrick, like getting, next man up, getting called up here, um, go hold your own and go do some stuff. And I thought he played pretty well. I was really impressed with the secondary, given, the lack of depth because of guys being hurt. So that
Yeah.
was definitely something that I wanted to make sure to include there. You were talking about things that I wanted to see get better. It's really hard. I'm looking at the defense and going, yeah, they give up a couple of runs, but overall they were really good. They gave up that one big pass, but overall they were really good. That was a fantastic performance defensively. I have a hard time finding something there that I'm like, ooh, I really wish they had done that better.
So the Saints are coming to town.
Mm-hmm.
And that they've played a couple NFC West teams already and not done well. I think this is another game where we can really build on.
Yeah.
And they're going to play hard. They're
going to play hard, but
they just don't have enough
that is
talent
not a
at the
talented
end.
roster. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
not a good roster. The Seahawks need to come out and just clobber them.
This game against Pittsburgh, Keith, was just really important to me. I mean, 0-2 is just awful. The fan base would have turned on this franchise fairly quickly, I'm certain, and turned on Darnold. And you come out 1-1 and you look pretty good doing it, and everyone feels a sense of relief. I think is kind of the overall sense I'm getting from the fan base. Is like,
yep,
okay, that's kind of the team that we expected. That's the running game we expected. That's the Sam Darnold we expected. He's gonna have an interception, but he's also gonna have 2 or 3 really good plays a game. That's that hopefully can overcome that. And the defense is going to be formidable, I think, as this season progresses. I think that it's going to be harder and harder to move the ball consistently against this defense, and I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Should note that the NFL's longest streak of not scoring a touchdown on their opening drive is over.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah.
Darnold took them down, and that pass to Torrey Horton for a touchdown.
His first NFL catch, by the way.
His first NFL catch was a touchdown. All he does is catch touchdowns. That's a Chris Carter reference.
That's a good rep. That's a good rep.
And yeah, I mean that they did not have an opening possession drive score last year, and they didn't, the previous year for like 6 straight games, and they didn't week 1 of this year. So that's been a long stretch, and that's
that Kansas City preseason game gave me hope, because that's when they scored in the first possession there, and then they scored in the first possession of the second half as well in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, really,
that's what competent coaching looks like.
What do you think of the offensive line play so far? There's mixed reviews when you go look at Pro Football Focus grades and all that kind of crap, but
there's mixed reviews. And I think mixed reviews is about right. There's been some great, there's been some bad. It's middle, it's average, it's right there, and I'm okay with that because they were so bad last year, and they've got, for at least half this game, 4 of the same 5 guys out there, and it was average.
Did you even bat an eye when Sundell went down and Oluwatimi came in?
Not really.
I didn't even think about it.
The 2 of them they're the same person. One's just a clone of the other. Literally, they just
Sundell's a little more athletic.
I know, but you know what I mean. As far as like overall quality,
as far as the confident level that you have in those players to do their job to a adequate level is pretty solid, pretty high.
They are the same quality of player. Sundell goes down, Oluwatimi comes in, and you don't expect a little bit of a drop off. Okay. I will say
the protections have been good. I gotta say, like Sam Darnold, I mean, he got blitzed a couple of times and was rushed into like moving out of the way and out of the pocket and got sacked a couple of times. But overall, man, it's like the issue of the offensive line is a non-factor. Like it took us until minute 34 to even talk about the offensive line in this show.
Yeah.
And I don't
It is
think we
not.
even talked about it really in the first game either. It's like it's just a non-issue when somebody's doing their job and to a level that you're having success on offense. It doesn't really even matter. Like,
They're not
and
dominant, but they're not getting their ass handed to them like they were last year and the year before. Um, there were some mistakes, and there were some guys who got beat, and they're okay. Um,
Lucas got beat on a sack, but he's going against Watt.
yeah, that's the thing is you look at Abe Lucas matched up against Bosa in week 1, almost exclusively 1-on-1, and against Watt in week 2, almost exclusively 1-on-1.
It's a big
That
challenge.
that is like, holy crap, welcome back. I hope your knee feels good. Uh,
Yeah.
that is not an easy an easy thing to ask, for him. And I
And
thought he
so
played
far, the
admirable.
protections have not been like, they're not throwing a lot of tight end help on either side of the
No,
offensive line so far this
they
year.
have they haven't needed to. The guys are holding up. Um, I will say the third and 19 or third and goal from the 19 where that run that got in there. Go if you want to go back and watch the replay. Don't watch the guy running. Watch the guys blocking, and you're going to see Charles Cross all the way out to the sidelines blocking someone out of bounds, and Gray Zabel 20 yards downfield. Okay, not 15 yards downfield, pancaking someone at the 5 in order to get Walker into the end zone. That was fun. That was like I watched that and I'm like, I could get used to this. Like that was really nice. Um, Gray Zabel is
Yeah.
that was only his second game. Keep that in mind.
Well,
That
I
kid's
will
gonna
say
be
this: Pro Football
good.
Focus did not like his game. Like they did not like. He was rated like 20. He had a 24 grade pass blocking and a 31 grade run blocking.
I
Now,
don't believe that at all.
now, yeah. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. And certain plays he stands out, right? Like the one you just described. So I am curious to though pay a little bit more attention to that interior blocking and kind of find out if it's really working. I know that those big holes that are happening are there. And
And
the
they're
running back's able to run through. One of those was Robbie Oots. I mean, just came up and filled that hole and created that. But that hole was open before
yeah,
Oots got there.
because if you go back and look at that play, it's not usually the play side guard, but he got a seal on the defensive tackle, and whereas Cross was pushing wide, and he was able to get that seal block and create a hole, and then Oots came up into the hole and took out the linebacker that was the run fit and
Yes.
the secondary linebacker both. You get
Yes.
both linebackers gone in that
Yeah.
hole, and
Flat
now
on the
you're
ground.
asking, and now you're the first person that even could go get to a Walker would be a safety. Like you're talking third level
His
of the
own wide
defense.
receiver tackled him on that play, which, was sucky. But so, yeah, I mean, in a normal situation, that would probably been a 3 or 4 yard gain. And then
Yeah,
Robbie Utes comes up there and turns it into like a 19-yard gain, which is amazing.
yeah. But
Yeah.
the offensive line blocking worked as it was supposed to.
Yes.
You had the stretch out, and then you had the seal block, which creates a hole, and the running back puts his foot in the ground and runs up into it. And yeah, he probably gets hit by the linebacker and gets tackled for 3 or 4 yards, but it worked as it was supposed to. Robbie Oots just happened to be there first, and
And
you're
decimated.
I
Decimated
freaking
those guys.
I know I'm old school and I'm old, but goddamn, I love it watching when you have a team with a fullback and you just watch those guys just go
That
up
was
there,
pretty
throw
much
their
the
head in there and just
sentiment
clobber
on
people.
the internet today, Keith. You are not alone. I mean,
Yeah,
that was like everyone was drooling over that.
I missed the days of Max Strong and Michael Robinson, and when the Seahawks had, that fullback that can just go in there and crush a linebacker and let the running back run free. And it's been nice to see.
I will say this. We failed just as many times as we were successful running the ball in this game.
We did.
There were times where linebackers or defensive tackles were jumping into the backfield past the blocks to either making contact or making a tackle. So there are definitely things to work on. I mean, this was not the Kansas City easy, everything works on every play and it's blocked perfectly. That was not this game. And it's kind of almost encouraging in a sense that there is still some improvement there to be had. And we were still really successful. And so I think that's kind of the hope is this is like the baseline of where this offense is, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah. I was especially impressed with the fact that since half the running plays, mostly the Zach Charbonnet ones, weren't successful, they didn't stop running it. They kept at it. They kept making it work. They kept tweaking and finding things and finding ways to do it because it was important. It kept the Steelers, especially Patrick Queen, he got frozen on those play actions because they kept running it. And last year, they would have had 8 running plays in this game.
I think so. And we would have been in jeopardy of losing that game.
And we probably would have lost that game.
So, okay. So we're going to meet here in the middle of the week. We're going to talk about this Saints game because I think that's going to be a fun game at home. Mm-hmm. Get us back to, even at home record this year. I really want to see that improve to going 3 wins last year and then starting off with a loss this year was not good. I'd love to see that turn around. Anything else, and we'll get out of here.
No, let's do it. Let's get out of here, and I guess, like you said, we'll be back. We'll look ahead to the Saints game and get everyone ready for that game, which will hopefully be first win at home for the Seahawks this year.
Yeah, for sure. All right, you can find Keith on Blue Sky at Myers NFL. You can find me at NWC Hawk, the show, Seahawks Playbook Podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform and our YouTube channel, and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you get your shows and show updates the couple times a week that we put out content. So until next time, go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Seahawks Playbook Podcast listeners, thanks for joining us for another edition of the show. You can find us on Twitter. Bill is at NWCHawk, Keith is at Myers NFL, and the show is at Hawks Playbook. You can listen and subscribe to the show at SeahawksPlaybook.com.